Washington beats Illinois 42-25. We called this game properly. We thought that Washington being at home with Illinois having to travel all the way over to Husky Stadium and Washington really being able to have the better run defense and have the more mobile QB and having kind of the better overall team at home with the travel would be able to negate Illinois' edge at having the bye and a great quarterback in Luke Altmaier and some good players on defense. Before I continue, liking the video, watching the video all the way through, and commenting your thoughts down below are the best ways to support the channel as they help push me into the algorithm, help me to receive a larger paycheck that I can use to reinvest in producing elite analysis for you all. Subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell, sharing the video around, and supporting us in other ways that you can find out via the description are other awesome ways to support our operation at College Football with Sam. We are becoming the best. We want to be the best. Thank you all for making that possible. 42-25, Washington dominated the second half. It felt very reminiscent of the Rutgers-Washington game from 2 weeks ago. That Friday night game where Rutgers was battling in the first half, showed some things that went their way. I mean, at one point, Illinois led 17-14 with under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. But then Washington drove down the field. Excellent trick play where Denzel Boston passed to Jonah Coleman for a touchdown, used a lot of motion to get Illinois off kilter, and then including that touchdown from 40 minutes to go in the first half onwards, Washington outscored Illinois 28-8. Yeah. And they won by 17 points. It was a wonderful game plan from Fish, wonderful bounce back spot. I mean, Washington won in the turnovers, in the total yards. They really did dominate at the end of the day. And their college football playoff hopes are alive. When you outgain a team 449 to 337, and Illinois did a good job, I think, running the ball relative to what Washington is defensively. Washington did an even better job running the ball. Jonah Coleman in Big Ten play has struggled because of his offensive line. So against Maryland, 3.2 yards per carry. Rutgers and Michigan, 3.1 yards per carry. Ohio City got 5.4, but that was off of a 34-yard run, and that's also how Ohio State plays defense. They're much more concerned about stopping the pass than they are stopping the run. If they stop the run, it's gravy. As long as they keep you from scoring touchdowns and make sure that you can't pass on them all that effectively, Patricia's okay with giving up some rushing yards here or there. Illinois, he averages 5.4 yards per carry. He has a receiving touchdown. This puts him at 959 total yards on the year with 15 total touchdowns, and he has not yet fumbled. He's one of the best running backs in America. DeMond Williams Jr., after throwing 3 interceptions against Michigan, he threw 4 touchdowns in this game. Bounced back in a great way with a 90.5 QBR, 66 rushing yards. He never took a sack, and he completed 78.8% of his passes, crossing the 2,000-yard mark in passing yards. Altmaier, I would also say, leading Illinois in rushing yards, and yes, he threw 2 picks, but he also threw 2 touchdowns. I thought he had a pretty good game with the travel and the defense he was playing, and all things considered, I thought that Luke Altmaier had a good game. Illinois, as we've talked about from the beginning, they were never going to be top 10. They never are top 10, and this team will never be a top 10 team. I don't hate Illinois. I can promise you that I do not hate Illinois. But what I do hate is intellectual dishonesty. And all of these pundits and all of these media people who said that, well, Illinois returns a lot. They'll be this year's Indiana with like that, snide look and snide, accent and all the jargon. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just watch their game against Duke. The only reason they won by 2 scores is Duke was moronic with taking care of the football. Watch the Indiana-Illinois game. If Indiana wanted to hang 100, they could have. And if not for the modern clock rules, they probably would have won the game like 100-10. Illinois is above average. That's what they are. Washington's good. Washington isn't even all that great. Watch their game against Ohio State and Michigan. That offense can't do anything against defenses that have great defensive fronts. They have a really big issue scaling against more talented teams. Illinois is just not a more talented team than Washington is. So therefore, Washington can put up a bunch of points and get enough stops on defense to really run away from these types of Big Ten teams that are not your Titans or could be Titans in the future. Against teams that do not have 50+% blue chip ratio rosters, Washington will likely win, and they will do a good job on offense scoring points, and they will do enough defensively to emerge victorious. Bielema has still done a good coaching job. This Illinois team probably finishes 8-4, 9-3. To have back-to-back seasons winning 8 or more games, or back-to-back 9-3 seasons and maybe a 10th one in the bowl game again, that is a feat that no Illinois coach in the modern era football has accomplished. That would earn my respect that would earn my respect for Bielema, and my respect's already been earned. It doesn't really even have to be earned. I'm just a guy talking about college football. The point being, Bielema can be a good coach and do a good job. That can be true, and Illinois can be better than last year, which they are from a power ratings angle. And at the same time, we can admit that means Illinois is simply above average or maybe good, whereas last year they were just average and won a bunch of close games. They're not this great or near elite team. Washington isn't either, but Washington is a path to the playoffs that I want to get to, that I want to talk about. Let's talk about Illinois here for a few minutes. So Illinois, they've played number 1 and number 2, got beaten down by both of them, especially Indiana, and they got beaten down by a Washington team that's fringe top 25, but probably not better than 20th in a power ratings sense. They have to return home to play a Rutgers team who is feisty offensively, kind of a Walmart version, I would say, of Washington overall. Washington also did crush Rutgers, for context, in the second half, much like they did Illinois. Point being, Rutgers is not an automatic win. Maryland at home, not an automatic win. Wisconsin on the road probably is, given the state of the Badger program, but you never know. And Northwestern at home's not an automatic win. I don't think Illinois will lose out. I think they will probably win all of these games, or 3 out of 4 of them, and finish 8-4, 9-3. So right around what their win total from FanDuel before the season ended, which was 8.5, I believe, right around what that win total said, is, I think, where they will finish. It's been a good coaching job by Bielema. However, as we've already discussed and talked about, this is a team that is very limited in the trenches. They're secondary with some of the injuries they've suffered, but also just from returning quality production, but not really upgrading there with all that returning starts and returning statistics and reps. They are not all that great defensively. Their offensive line's limited. They're really Luke Altmaier, Hank Beatty, Bowick, those receivers, occasionally someone on defense, whether it's Rosiek or Yakis or Neal or Thompson Jr. Occasionally, one of them makes a play, or maybe Patterson or Cox or someone in the secondary, but they're not all that consistent defensively. That's what Illinois is. They win if they win the turnover battle. When they lose, as they did yesterday, they lose, and oftentimes it can be in a pretty big way. For Washington, they have lost to a Michigan team that at this point looks like, not a guarantee, but looks like they're going to win out before the Ohio State game, and that'll be 11-0 Ohio State versus 9-2 Michigan. And their other losses to that Ohio State team, who will be undefeated entering that Michigan game. That's not all that bad of a resume, especially considering Michigan was on the road, and I don't think they played their best against Ohio State either. Don't think if they played their best they would have won, but they were in that game for about 2.5 quarters. In the win over Illinois, wins over Rutgers, beating Maryland on the road after that letdown spot against Ohio State. This has been a good coaching job by Jed Fish. At Wisconsin, given the travel, and I know that Washington gets a bye, but so does Wisconsin, that's going to be a tough spot. But Washington should win that game. And Purdue, UCLA should be wins. Purdue, I'd say, is probably a lock to be a win. At UCLA before Oregon is tough. This really comes down to, can Washington win out before the Oregon game? And they should. And once they play Oregon at home, hopefully from the Husky standpoint with a 9-2 record, can they win that game? If they do, and if Michigan and Ohio State both win out and compete in the game, they should get in the playoffs at 10-2. Their playoff hopes are alive and well. And I will tell you that while I would not favor them over Oregon right now, with the quarterback they have, the running back, the receivers, the fact that they have some NFL guys defensively, and I believe that Ryan Walters has done a great job as a first-year DC. If they pull out all their cards and Oregon struggles a bit, I think they can do it. So for Washington, the ball is in your park. You just have to decide how you're going to play your cards and also how you're going to respond to your opponent's hand. But everything is in your court. You control your own destiny. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure, if you haven't already, to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment your analysis and thoughts down below so I can reciprocate my thoughts with you in the comment section, and check out anything on these end screens that are up here. Whether it's a recommended video or playlists for teams that I'm talking about in a preview, prediction, or a reaction, make sure to hit the notification bell on those, scroll through them, and watch any suggested videos if you are interested. Thank you for helping College Football with Sam become the best and the biggest college football brand and channel on YouTube and other social media platforms. We will reach that one day because of your support.